Let's make the remove button actually do something. Did you guys make that happen? Who made it happen? Pretty good chunk of people. Okay, so we need to add another event listener, right? Can we do it up here? I don't know. It seems like we might have more event listeners at some point. So I'm going to go ahead and break that out into a separate function. We'll call it set up event listeners. Don't forget the comma. Notice it does give us the red squiggle here. Comma expected. Very helpful. That's ESLint doing that. And we'll just take this, move it here. Now don't forget to actually call it. So this dot set up event listeners. Very good. So first we need to be able to target these buttons. Okay, they all have a class of button. That's a little generic. So I'm going to give it a class of remove. Also, they're blue and not scary looking. They should be scary looking because this is a dangerous operation. And if we look at the foundation example here, here's a red button. Let's inspect that. We see it has a class of alert. I bet that's what's doing it. A class of success would make it green. All right. Let's throw an alert class in there as well. Okay, it's red. Good. And we're going to use remove to identify it. So do you suppose when we set up our other event listeners, we can just say document dot add event listener. Well, no, I need to find something first, right? Document dot query selector. Button dot remove. So look for a button element with a class of remove. Add an event listener to it. What's the event? Not submit this time, but click, right? And for right now, I'm just going to define a handler in line just to see if this works. Yep. Hope this isn't a submit button. Let's put button type equals button just to be sure. Okay, so I don't need to prevent default because clicking a button doesn't do anything. All right. Does it work? Nope, nothing happened. So this should have grabbed the button from the template and added an event listener to that, right? But cloning the node lost the event listener. So we can't do it there. We're going to have to do it after the clone exists. So maybe down here within built list item. We do all this nonsense. And then, if you remember, we don't have to do document. We could say li.querySelector, and it'll find it just within that li. So if we search for the remove button within this li, which is the clone, then hopefully we can do that. Can we? What's going on here? Nothing happened. Why did nothing happen? Yeah, well, at least I misspelled it the same way both times. So that actually was running. Otherwise, the form wouldn't have submitted, right? What's going on here? This is an outrage. Button.remove. It's a button with a class of remove. Let's see. Let's throw in a debugger. See what we can see. Okay. Let's see, we have li. We have li. Li dot query selector button dot remove. There it is. You know what? Because I don't. So, why doesn't this work? Oh, it did. I didn't actually click it this time. You do have to click the event for the click handler to function. No, okay. It's good. It's great. I feel better. Now you may remember if your arrow function is a one-liner, you don't need the curly braces. So that's what we did there. But that's not actually the function we want to run. We need to actually remove the student when that happens. So just we have an add student. Way up here we have add student. We'll add a function to remove student. Remove student. This is going to be a click handler, so it'll receive that event. Don't forget your comma, because this is just another property of this mega roster object. So this dot remove student is what we want. If we wanted to make sure that this were bound to mega roster still inside there, we could say remove student bind this. Otherwise, this would be the button, right? So ev.target is the button. Let's save it to a variable. Const btn equals event.target. That is the button that was clicked. It's not a form. It's just whatever object fired the event. In this case, it was clicking a button, so it's the button. So what does it need to do? It needs to remove the whole li. So from this button, how do we find that li? Who did it? Yeah, Nick?
I use something called like e.cat, which is like an array of
All right. So let's find this button here. There it is. Now it's $0. Const btn equals $0. Okay. btn dot path. Is that what you said?
It was from the event.
Oh, from the event. Gotcha. So let's put a debugger in here. Add a thing. I have two debuggers. Click this button. That's the debugger I wanted. So I have event. There it is. It's a mouse event. Event.path. It gives me this array-like thing. So here's the button. This is what was actually clicked. That's the first thing in the array. Then comes its parent, the span.actions. Then comes the li. So did you just loop through the array looking for that? Or, yeah? Very creative. Did not know about that. We're going to do it another way. Let's look up closest. Element.closest. Uh-oh. This is an experimental technology. Let's see what our compatibility table looks like. Works in Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Opera, Safari. On mobile, works on Safari. Android ? Works on iPhones, works on desktops. I'm going to use it this time. We're going to use this experimental feature because it's way easier than doing it the other way. But we could do it Nick's way, and that would work pretty reliably. But we didn't this morning, so we're not going to cheat and do it another way. We're going to go ahead and do this. First of all, let me get rid of that breakpoint. Cool. So button.closest basically does a query selector going up the tree. So if I put .student, that's the class that's on the LI. And it's not the fact that it's an LI that's meaningful, it's the fact that it's the student that I need to remove. That will look at the element and each of its parents to find the first thing that matches that selector. And then we're just going to take it the heck out. .remove. Refresh. Tappity, 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 tappity. Let's move this middle one. Boom, it's gone. Yeah. I like it. So, remove students from the UL, but not the array. Just remind ourselves that we haven't done that yet. So now our students array is out of sync with the DOM. So we need to remove something from an array. You know how to remove something from an array? Anybody know how to do that? Who knew unshift? Somebody knew unshift. Do you know this one? Splice. That'll do it. So splice removes something from an array. So let's experiment with that for a second. Let's make an array. Apple, orange, banana. I want to remove orange. So let's say r.splice. So it's 0 indexed, so orange is the thing at position 1, right? I wonder if that's all there is to it. So the return value is an orange banana. What is the actual array now? Just apple. So it looks like the return value is what it took out. So it took from there to the end. Not what we wanted. So let's set array. We should have made this not a constant. Let array equal apple, orange, banana. Array.splice. From position 1, the second argument is how many things you want to remove. Only one. Otherwise, it'll go all the way to the end. Now that returns an array with just orange in it, and the array is now apple, banana. It looks like that's what we want. So remove student. We need to remove it from the students array. So that would be this dot students dot splice the position in the array. I'm not sure what that is. And we only want to remove one thing, right? So we need to find out at what position in the array this particular student is. That sounds hard and I'm tired. So you get to do it. So, thine homework. Finish yesterday's homework if you didn't, and you can use my mega roster as a base. So part of it's already done. And don't forget to keep the students array in sync. So if you remove something, remove it from that array, using that line that I commented out. If you promote something, keep track of that inside the array too, the fact that it's been promoted. Bonus credit. Fool around with foundation and or plain old CSS to make it look nicer. Right now it's kind of hideous once we start adding things, right? So in our app CSS, we could target some of that stuff. Like we wanted to target those LIs. How would we do that? They all have a class of student, right? So we could target it that way. We could say, give it a border of 1 pixel, solid, kind of a light but not too light gray. By the way, these hex codes, that's a 6-digit hexadecimal number actually. 2 digits each for red, green, blue. Hexadecimal digits are 0 through F, where F is 15. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F. So with 2 digits for each, that gives us 0 through 255. So there are 256 different values available for each color. Now, if the 2 digits are the same, you can shorten it. So it's just DDD here. Anytime all the numbers are the same, that would be a shade of gray. We could manually specify a height or do any number of other things here. What about this? These buttons are in an actions span, right? Dot actions. What if we say float right? Not great. Not great. Try to make it look better. I won't save those changes. One level of bonus credit is clearly not enough. Let's make some mega bonus credit. Our mega bonus credit is to add buttons to change the position of the student within the list. In other words, add move up and move down buttons. So I could click move up to move this guy to the top. Click move down here to move it to the bottom. Ooh. To move up one position at a time. Sounds tough. Super mega bonus credit. Persist the student data using window.local storage. What? I don't know, look it up. The goal here is to make it so that when I refresh the page, I don't lose it all. I get those back. See if you can figure that out if you get bored. All right. I'm going to commit this, add day 3 homework. So remember, not only is the homework in the README for this project, it will also be on day 3 on the website, along with links to the video and notes on all the stuff we covered. And that'll be up there pretty soon. Go in peace.